waiting for it to connect. Okay, we're up and running. Right, hello and welcome to today's See You Next Thursday podcast with myself, Ed1, and today's special in more ways than one guests, Seamus Maldeeps, who is still celebrating Liverpool's defeat in the Champions League, and Sport Billy, who is an Everton fan, so avoids talking about football. Hopefully Robbie the happy Aussie will be joining us later, but that depends on if he wakes up in time, which is not definite. Oh, anyway, so to begin with, how are you both?
I'm good, thanks, Trish. Very well, thank you.
How about you, Deeps? Oh, he's gone again.
He's gone off again.
Oh, he's having a few problems, I'm afraid. Technical hitches. Basically, even though he's incredibly wealthy, he still can't afford to pay his internet bill, apparently. Or something. Yeah, he's got off again. So, anyway, Seamus will be back soon. So we'll just get started while we're waiting. I think we're going to start with the Champions League final.
Right, are we starting with the football or with the fiasco?
Let's get the football out the way because, I don't want to talk about this. Let's get it out the way.
Right. Well, here's my view on the game. I thought Madrid done a number on Liverpool. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. Typical Carlo Ancelotti for me. Really looking to kill the game before it already started, keeping Liverpool at bay rather than being an attacking side and showing some attacking prowess. And they done a number on Liverpool, who I thought myself a couple of the players looked a bit jaded, which isn't unnatural for a team who's played so many games and so many high-profile games, as well as internationals. So you can see why they were, but I did think Liverpool were a little bit jaded. I thought they were very unlucky to not score. Thibaut Courtois made some excellent saves, and I thought Liverpool had hard luck, to be honest with you.
No, I'd put it down to bad finishing rather than hard luck. If you don't put it in the back of the net when you get the chances, you've only got yourself to blame, haven't you?
Yeah, but just sometimes you've got to give the keeper credit. He made 2 world-class saves in that game.
What?
One from Mane. The one from Mane, low to his right, that he tipped onto the post, and the one from Salah that he threw his arm at, and for all money that was in, and he done really well.
I'm sorry, I just think they were too close to him. If that had been Robbie Fowler, it's in the back of the net. Regardless of how good a keeper he is, I'm sorry, I just don't. I've seen, and I just don't see it as. I'm not convinced. You know what I mean? Oh, Beach has gone out again.
I think you're being a bit harsh on the forwards there, but I did think they looked a bit jaded, especially the forwards. Thought they looked a bit jaded. But as I say, there's a reason for that. The high-profile game they played, and. They done a number on you, and that's as simple as that for me. Typical Ancelotti.
Well, I'd agree with you if it wasn't for the fact that when you have 22 shots and you don't put them, you don't beat the keeper with 22 shots, then I think you've got to say that the problem's down to your finishing, not the goalkeeping or the or tiredness or anything like that.
I see your point. I just thought, I could see why Liverpool didn't win it now. I thought they'd win it. I honestly thought they'd easily win it. And I thought they had the chances to win it, but never come. Just never happened for them.
Did bloody tell you.
What did you think of the game, Deeps?
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. I don't think I'm going to watch it again, but who cares? I did tell you that Real Madrid will win.
Yeah, I thought so as well. That's why I said nothing in all the build-up, because the luck's all been with them all along. The luck had been with them all along.
The thing is, whenever a team needs luck to win it, Real Madrid always gets the top of the green.
or they get the officiating decisions.
They did have the rubber
Whichever way you say it, but they win it by being good or they win it by being lucky.
Yeah, and by getting the decisions from the
And that
thrown
is the
away.
thing with cup competitions as well. It's a one-off game or a knockout game. Anybody can beat anyone in a game or two.
Yeah, but when you look at, no, give them a bit of credit as well for the way they got through. The
Yeah, yeah,
to
definitely.
beat teams like Milan, PSG, Manchester City, you know, and Bayern Munich. Did they beat it? No, they didn't beat Bayern Munich, did they? Whoever they beat, they went the hard way to do it. So you've got to give them a bit of credit there.
Yeah, what you're trying to say, Billy, is that Liverpool had an easy ride all the way from the Champions League.
they had the they had the
Their
best
What,
luck
draw.
had to
Atletico
run out
Madrid?
somewhere, sometime.
What,
Their luck
Atletico
had to
Madrid?
run out sometime.
The Spanish champions, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, the Spanish champions who clawed and fought their way to get third in a two-horse leg.
Liverpool were the first team the first English team ever to win all their games in the group stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fair
because you
point.
had an Atletico Madrid that were basically crumbling. I think
They,
Simeone's time is about to run out. I think he's run his course. And you had Milan who were focusing more on their league
oh, here we go.
title.
Milan,
Yeah, league run.
who went on and won the Serie A title. But yeah, no, it was easy. It was an easy run through
Yeah,
to the
because they
final. You're
didn't
right,
want.
because they didn't have the
Yeah, they
best.
weren't
It's not like
focusing
they.
on. Yeah,
Oh, of course
no,
they. No,
but
no, of
Milan
course
had
they
their
weren't.
eye off.
No, no, it's all right.
Their
You
eye off
carry.
the
Of
Champions
course
League.
they
They
were. Of
wanted to be the
course they
king
were.
of
Yes.
Italy before
No,
being
no, I
the
believe
king
you.
of Europe.
No, I
And
believe you.
whoever was
You're
it
not
in a
just a
group.
bitter man. No, I believe you. Honestly.
You're not going to give
Yeah,
them
it's
credit, though,
potato
Deep
potato.
Sky.
Come
You're
on,
not going to give
calling
Liverpool
me.
credit.
Yeah, me being a bitter maker, me saying the truth, it's potato potato, whatever way you say it. But come on, who else was in a group? Was it Porto?
It doesn't matter. They beat Atletico Madrid and AC Milan. I mean, last year's Spanish champions and this year's Serie A champions. I don't think you can really say they had it easy.
They had it, and it was easier if a team is getting to the
Easier
Champions
than
League group
Madrid.
stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a team is getting to the group stage of Champions League, then surely they're not an Everton. They're a good, decent side. They're a
Exactly.
decent side. But come on, some teams are better prepared. Some teams are lesser sides, and you had
How
lesser
did you see
sides
it, Tris? How did you see the final?
Well,
How did you
with
I
see the
didn't
teary
watch
eyes.
it live. I watched
With
it.
teary eyes.
Yeah.
I'm sure he watched it with teary eyes.
Well, I watched it. To be honest, now we were talking about this with Bill earlier. European football I just can't get into it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I don't really care about it. So no, I wasn't really. It doesn't excite me. I don't know why. I might be the only Liverpool fan around that doesn't get into it. It just doesn't do it for me.
I'm not that big into European football anymore. But my gripe is more because it's so late on over here. It's
Yeah,
like
that
past
doesn't help.
midnight.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m.
That's past midnight. Past midnight is too late for us, especially when
Yeah.
your team is playing the bloody Europa League.
Fair point, Deep. Fair
Yeah, how
point.
did they get on in the Europa League? Because they would have had a much easier draw than Liverpool had, say, for instance, in the Champions League, wouldn't they?
Oh, we were in the Champions League, mate. We were just shit. We were in the group with Villarreal, Atletico, not Atletico, sorry, Atalanta and Young Boys,
And did
and
you
we
get?
lost at the wanked off. We
Yeah,
lost at wanked off.
says it all, mate. Says it all. Kind of suits you. But anyway, back to the Champions League final. Do you think Real Madrid deserved to win it, Deep? Because I think they did, because they scored the goal. That's what matters.
Yeah, ultimately, like Klopp said, you can say we had this many chances, we had this much possession, we controlled the game or whatever. But the most important stat in the game, and that and only one that truly matters is the goals scored and goals conceded.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And they scored one and conceded none. So that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the ultimate truth.
But they didn't. It wasn't that they defended well that they didn't concede. It was that Liverpool didn't score, and that's the problem. They were very poor.
Maybe they knew that Liverpool were coming out for revenge and not coming out to play. So
See, for me,
maybe
that was a mistake. That being said, Salah should
no.
never have said that.
That being said isn't a mistake if you win. If you lose, that's a huge pie in your face moment.
No, I just think it's one of those things you don't need to say it. Why say
You
anything? It
say it once you
reminds
win it.
Yeah, it reminds me of like when Lallana used to play for Liverpool, and every time we get, every time he'd come out and he'd say stuff, and you're thinking, oh, just shut up until you win something. Under Rodgers it
Yeah.
was, and he'd constantly come out with these kind of comments, and you're thinking, wait until after you've won something, then come out and talk about it. Not say it before that you're going to do this and you're going to do that, because you always end up looking a complete arsehole when you don't do it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
best to keep your mouth shut and just play the game and then talk about it afterwards. But these days, people just want to say stuff on social media and that rather than
Yeah,
just getting on with the
pretty
game.
much. So. Yeah. Right. Well, that's the game. Now, I'd like to move on to the actual ticket fiasco and dealings outside the ground, which, by all accounts that I've had of friends who were there and reports I've heard, was an absolute disgrace.
Well, we
I know
both.
lads who went. Yeah, I know lads who went to the game who were telling me they've never witnessed scenes like it, and they've been all over the globe with Liverpool, and they've never known anything like it. It was people getting pepper sprayed, police vans parked to funnel them all through a 3 meter gap instead of opening all the turnstiles, with one turnstile opened at the end at Liverpool way. And you've seen the scenes on the telly of tear gas being used in people's faces when they were doing, you could see they were doing absolutely nothing wrong. And it was an absolute disgrace. And it's got to be down to UEFA and the organising and the French authorities. And I
Well,
think they've got a lot to answer
it's the
for.
French authorities. I mean, they're claiming forged tickets, but like as you said, people. Andy Robertson was saying, they checked his mate's tickets that he gave them that were legitimate, and two of them got rejected as fakes, even though they were
Yeah,
clearly
absolutely.
legitimate. And there's plenty of stories I know plenty of people who bought tickets off UEFA's website who couldn't get into the game because they were kicked out. I know Liverpool fans never even got never even got as far as having their tickets checked. My cousin was saying they were there early because, like I told you, she's always early for everything. She will never get anywhere late. She's always well early. So she was at the ground. They were at the front of the queue waiting at this gate. I can't remember which gate she said. Stood there, the gate never opened. Not at all, not once, until the police came out charging out of it and tear gassed them. And she's a woman in her 50s, and the group she was with are all in their 50s and 60s, and they were attacked by police for no reason other than just standing there peacefully, singing along. They were just singing songs and waiting to get in. They never opened the gates. They never got to present tickets, and yet we're being told that they were all fake tickets. Not true. And it was the other side as well. Real Madrid fans are saying exactly the same problems, just not to the same degree. Probably because there was less people there. They have a smaller, obviously they have a smaller away following. The Spanish don't get into the away fan. They don't do the away travelling as much as English fans do. So they would have had less of a problem with it. Less people there. So theirs was a bit easier. But they were saying they had problems, and the police were attacking them as well. And it was all being blamed on them. Yeah, it was the French, saying it was them bunking in over the fences. Whereas it turns out it was French lads that were bunking in over the fences, and the police were just letting them.
Yeah. The ultras come in, the thugs of in
PSG,
France,
no doubt.
and got in, and they were knifed up, tooled up, whatever. And I know this by first-hand accounts from people who were there. And they were saying it was a very scary time, coming out the ground especially. One of my mates who's followed Liverpool all over the world said he'd never go to an away game again in a European away game. He'd never go again. He was that scared for the people he was with. He had a couple of younger lads with him, and they were absolutely terrified. And I don't see how there hasn't been more questions asked of the French authorities. Thierry Henry said something very pertinent, that it's not Paris, that it's outside Paris, and it's the area that it's built in. It hasn't got the greatest reputation. I don't know, I've never been to the stade myself, but I believe it's outside Paris, and the area is noted for thuggery and violence. That was Thierry Henry's words. So I think it was a bad choice in the end for the game to go ahead there. I know they had problems with the Ukraine situation, but I think they could have picked somewhere better.
Yeah, they could have done, but they, obviously they wanted to appease the Qataris. That's what it came down
Yeah.
to. They wanted it in
Yeah,
Paris for them, because they were expecting to get there. It wasn't a good
but
choice.
you can't have situations like that where people are scared to go to a game,
But
where they're actually put up for life going to a game. And go on, Chris.
I was just going to say, how could they have picked a French city of any of the French cities at all this season when they know that they've been having real problems?
Yeah, exactly.
Problems.
We talked about on previous podcasts the trouble they've had in France with the violence outside the ground and inside, and it was just a bad choice for me.
It really was a terrible choice. I don't understand why they picked it. I mean, it's one of those things. It's just asking for trouble. I mean, they must have known that there was a problem. You know what I mean? They must have known that this was likely to be a problem.
Do you think that there's any value in the thought that because British hooligans, I'm saying Liverpool specifically, British hooligans have got a reputation abroad, that the police automatically assumed they were going to be troublemakers and came out heavy-fisted and tore into them, thinking there might be violence, I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying, do you think that was part of the problem?
I think it's just the French police was the problem. End of. Nothing else. I don't think it was anything to do with it. I think they just didn't like it. They probably just
but whose decision was it not to open the turnstiles? Whose decision was it, Chris?
Nobody knows, because nobody's admitting it. Everyone's saying that they weren't even admitting they were closed. They were saying that Liverpool fans had turned up late. Yet there was clear footage at the time that they were packed, waiting to get in, and nobody was opening gates. So it was just, all we get is blatant lies. So we can't tell what's happened.
It's a terrible indictment on the French authority, though, isn't it? The French police.
But they don't give a shit, do they?
And to a certain extent, yeah.
They'll just go burn a few lorries, and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing the usual thing, just like after Hillsborough, where the police doubled down and blamed everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than accepting that they got it wrong, they just blame everyone.
But that could have been a lot worse than what it was. Do you think it could have been a lot worse than what it was? People could have died.
When you start you're tear gassing a fucking crowd, that's when people get stampeded to death. That's when people die. Is things like that. That is a ridiculous thing to do. Especially as there was no need to do it. There was no trouble going on. They were just firing indiscriminately into a crowd. Why?
Yeah.
There was,
it was an awful situation.
We've seen the footage. I sent you one, didn't I, from earlier, where they sat. These Liverpool fans just sat peacefully in a French bar just before the game, before the game. This is
Yeah.
during the fan zone time, just outside the fan zone. It is. The people that the overspill couldn't get into it, so they were just in the bar, quietly having a drink. Nobody's, just singing along. There's no trouble. Everyone's just having a drink and a bit of fun. You know what I mean? And the next thing, the police just come charging in with batons and tear gas for no reason again. And that is exactly what was going on all the time in France. There's some serious questions need to be asked of what was going on there and why they felt the need to attack peaceful people.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They were there for a jolly up. They weren't there for violence, I don't think, anyway. Well, according to all my friends who went. And, they said it was one of the worst experiences they had, and it shouldn't happen.
And
But it has happened. And as you say, there's got to be repercussions.
The Spanish are saying exactly the same, so it's not just like Liverpool fans are the only ones that got attacked. The Spanish are saying they suffered the same. The French police were just as bad their end as well. So, they were, when they were struggling to get in, they were having, they weren't opening enough turnstiles for them either and stuff. So, yeah, it's just they've got to say, but we wouldn't hear about because obviously we're only seeing it from because we're English. The English were on the footage. That's all we're seeing is the English point of view. But the Spanish are saying they were having problems as well, and they've complained. They've made an official complaint as well, Real Madrid.
Well, let's hope there's a full inquiry into it, and the people who caused it are going to get sanctioned or whatever. I know it's too late now for Liverpool fans who went to the game, but there's got to be repercussions and there's got to be some sanctions put on the French to host any sort of big tournament again.
What about those people that missed out, who bought legitimate tickets and couldn't get to see a game that they paid for because of the French decided they weren't going to let them in?
Abbott put on that there was 2,700 ticket holders who never actually got into the game. And when you think of the money they paid in travel, air travel or bus travel or whatever, the hotels they booked, the food, the cost of everything, never mind the cost of the ticket. Some people paid $2,500 that I know for each ticket because they were legit. And all gone to waste. It's absolutely incredibly bad. Incredibly bad.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
It sounded like a complete shambles.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah, hello, Rob.
Welcome, Rob.
There you go. How are you?
You sound happy. Is
Still
that being gutted you'd married the missus now you found out Shakira's single?
Still getting over the...
What was your take on it, Rob? What was your take on... And you've obviously seen the game on the television, and you've seen the aftermath. What was your view on everything, mate? What was your take as a Liverpool supporter?
Look, I went to Federation Square in the city with my friends to watch the game. So we'd rocked up at about 4 a.m. with in view for a 5 a.m. kickoff. So we're there. Everyone's people are turning up. Madrid fans, Liverpool fans. Everyone's getting ready, and then all of a sudden, we're just in amongst chatter and talking about what we think the lineup, the game's going to be, and what we think of the lineups and this and that. And then we just see on the screen that there's, been a delay, and we're like, oh, what the hell's going on here? But because we were in so much conversation, we weren't really checking our phones or anything to see what was going on. So that's when we took notice. We started checking Twitter and social media and things like that. And the first thing that came into my head was, oh no, not again. What's going on? Why is it Liverpool fans? What's going on here? And then all these reports are coming out about bottlenecking and people being rushed through. One closed off 4 gates to be rushed through one, and tear gas being spread. And you think to yourself, what the hell, man? Like, imagine that you were there. The first thing that was in my head was, I hope there's no one hurt or any sort of fatalities or anything like that, because you're there to enjoy a game. You don't know what's going on at the time, because you don't know if it's the police or if there's been a bloody riot, and then you start hearing about all the French gangs and people getting stolen and bashed and people jumping the gates. and it puts you off. Even as someone who's halfway across the other side of the world, it puts you off. You're there to watch a game. It's a Champions League final. It's supposed to be on
Yeah.
the biggest scale, and then you hear this shit: people being bashed and thrown and grabbed, and then the tear gassing of children and women. And what the hell's this shit, Bill? You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely, Rob.
and because no one knows what's going on, because they're just sitting there telling us in the broadcast, oh, there's some drama outside the stadium and kickoff has been delayed. You can't help but panic straight away and think, hang on, is it, overcrowding again? Are people getting squashed? Your mind's not even on the game. So
Yeah, absolutely.
then you skip past the game, which I'm sure we'll talk about in depth, but you skip past the game and you see what actually happened afterwards when, people are recording photos and videos and putting them on social media, and you actually start to see what was going on. And you just think to yourself, this isn't right, man. This is disgusting. And then in the days after and the aftermath, and you start to really hear about what happened, it's a joke, Bill. Tris, it's a joke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is. Yeah.
Why is it always got to happen? Something like that's got to happen. Why are they going to pin it on the Liverpool fans for? I know not everyone's perfect, and there's never 100% of the crowd. But to me, this time, and I wasn't there, you know that. But to me, this time, it sounds like, what did they do wrong? Well, what's the problem? They're sitting there.
I'd just like to say that, even as an Evertonian, I'd just like to say that trouble that was at Paris had nothing to do with the Liverpool fans, by the way. It had nothing to do with violence. It was the police heavy-handedness and absolute distrust and dislike of English fans that they didn't even give them a chance. I know lads who went and they said that out before the game it was euphoric. Everybody was laughing and joking and singing, and then it come to pass the game, but it had nothing to do with the results of the game. This was before and after, and the way them people were treated, young, old, kids, they were treated appallingly, and I think it's an absolute disgrace. I really do.
Spot on, Bill. If I'm unlucky enough, I can't go over there and travel like a lot of people in Europe who can go to all these away games. I wish I could do things like that. If I see now with what I've seen now, I wouldn't want to be going anywhere.
No, especially with a kid at tow or something like that,
with a kid or with your wife or with your mates. What are you going to do? Go there and get backed and mugged and nah, mate, not interested in that crap.
Yeah.
There's no need. There's no time, place for that crap. So very disappointing. And just looks like it's an absolute horror show. Shambles the way it was handled, and you can sit here and say hopefully it never happens again with anything, but with this day and age, Bill, who knows, mate?
Well, we talked about in the last couple of podcasts, haven't we? Especially myself, about falling out of love with football, the way things are going on, and it's another nail in the coffin for me. As I say, I haven't been to a derby match for over 10 years because of nastiness, and this is just another thing that why I'm falling out of love with the game. Don't get me wrong, I've always loved football. I love football. I do this, because I love football. But, it's just another, everything seems to be in a bad light towards football. Whether it be the money side, the fans side, the administration side, the problem. And I'm just not happy with the game at the moment. Still love it, still love football, but the beautiful game isn't the beautiful game at the moment, and it needs to change.
Hold on.
It's greed is the problem. That's what's ruining it. Greed is the problem. That's what's ruining it.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
They're not interested in what's best for the fans, just what makes them the most money.
Yeah, I'll have that, Trish. I'll have that all day.
That's the problem. Until that changes.
But,
you do wonder, we're PSG, we're Paris involved in the Super League. Maybe they're doing this to make UEFA look bad so they can get the Super League back on the agenda. Just a little conspiracy theory there. I thought I'd throw out. I don't believe in it, but I just thought I'd put it out there. Why not?
Who knows, Tris? It would not surprise me one bit.
PSG weren't involved in the Super League though.
Which match? Go on, tips.
PSG weren't involved in the Super League.
Ah, there you go. Good point.
No one from the League One was.
Ah, I couldn't remember. That's why I was just.
All right.
They're not after the money. It's the British clubs and the Spanish clubs. Oh, and Italian
Oh,
ones.
I'm sure
Those are
PSG
the
want the
ones
money.
that yeah. PSG have enough money. Maybe now they don't have enough money after paying Mbappe, but before they had enough money.
Yeah. Yeah.
After all,
Yeah.
they bought two mega buck transfers in one window. 200 and freaking 22 million euros. You could buy many clubs with that money.
Yeah.
They didn't do it in one window.
Yes. As Trish said, though, money's ruining the game, isn't it? Greed, money,
To be fair,
whatever.
can I just point out they didn't do two big money transfers in one window. They took one player on loan with the obligation to buy in the following summer window, so that they spread it over two windows.
Yeah, they spread it over
All
two
right.
windows, but they bought them in the same window.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it's not quite
Yeah,
as.
for anyone that is trying to nitpick, I also know that detail. I'm just saying two huge commitments in one window. They could probably have bought Newcastle for with the same money.
Couldn't have bought Chelsea though, could they?
Yeah, nice
Which,
segue.
yeah, well, I thought you.
Brilliant from Trish.
I know.
Finally, you're
Luckily.
learning.
So, so the Chelsea takeover then. Should we discuss that?
Yeah, four and
Well,
a half billion pound or dollar.
Whoa,
Was it
whoa,
pound
whoa.
or dollar?
4.25 billion in total, but it wasn't how much the club cost. That's including money they've been told, they've agreed to invest,
In
um,
the
and
stadium.
the cost of writing off Roman Abramovich's 1.5 billion in loans as well as being taken out of it. So that's got in, that's being counted in it. They're obviously they're putting the biggest number out they can rather than saying, I mean, basically he's written off 1.5 billion, so that's 2.75 billion, and they're putting in X amount. I've forgotten how much they have to invest a certain amount under the agreement. So it's actually not as much as it sounds.
yeah.
4.5, 4.5 billion was the late offer from Sir Jim Ratcliffe.
Yes, that's right. You're right there.
Yeah, that is where I'm
Yeah.
getting it
It
mixed
was
up.
4.25 billion anyway pounds that the final figure. Though, like I said,
Now,
obviously it's
I
made
don't
up
know.
of other things. Does make them the most
I don't.
expensive.
I don't know much about these owners. Does anyone know much about this? The crew that's come into by Chelsea.
Not a lot.
Deeps. Do you know them?
I only know that there's gonna be yet another American-based owner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only the head. He's only the major shareholder. There is more than it's a consortium. I think a few of them are
Right.
British, aren't they?
I know, but he's the face of the
Hmm.
whole deal. So
Bowley.
yeah,
Is he LA Dodgers or something he owns? Is it LA Dodgers?
I think
It's one of them.
it's the Cubs. I think the Chicago Cubs, maybe.
I, hang on.
Yeah.
I don't think it is, but I think it's the. Yeah. Oh, where is it? I'm trying to.
We should move on while I'm searching.
Oh,
Somebody
you
take over
searching
the
it as
handle.
well. Oh, you searching it as well. I was too. That's why I was. That's why I was hoping somebody else would carry on while I did it. So yeah, they anyway they paid a huge fee for it. Uh,
Do we think it's going
and
to make a
Also,
big difference to Chelsea next year?
ooh, it
Are they
means
still going to
they
be their richest club or one
well
of the richest clubs?
well he's got to invest, hasn't he? But they've got a private equity firm involved, which is always a worry, surely.
What is the private equity fund? Is it similar to that?
LA Dodgers. It is LA Dodgers.
Yeah,
Oh, and
and he,
he's part owner of LA Lakers as well.
yeah, and he's
Oh, yeah.
also is the
Sports
owner of
betting.
Fantasy Sports. Yeah,
Bruce
DraftKings.
Bruce Springsteen's songwrites, restaurant chains.
Yeah, and everyone can Google his name. Come on.
Yeah, he's like yeah. Well,
But are they all in it for the money? Are they all in it for the
Well, he
money?
did.
Or
He did previously try to buy Chelsea as well beforehand as well. It
yeah,
seems.
so I say, but
all
you
right.
don't know how true that is, do you? No, Jim Ratcliffe used to ask Roman about it all the time. Um,
Which team does Ratcliffe support? Because I
Man
see half the
United, he
Premier
says.
League. Yeah, half the Premier League. But when there were some rumors about him potentially buying Chelsea, Chelsea supporters were saying it would be nice to have another Chelsea supporter as their owner. And I was under the impression he supports Man United, but I'm not starting to think he supports any team that is up for sale in
Yeah,
any which way,
well, he said he's
whichever
Man
team he can
United.
buy.
He said he's Man United. He might be buying the others, but trying to buy others, but
Yeah.
he's definitely said
Are you guys
Man
aware
United.
of the conspiracy theory that he only threw his name in the hat late on because he wanted to make clear his intentions to spend huge number of money on an English club so that he could in future tempt the Glazers into selling Man United. I don't know whether it's wishful thinking of us Manchester United supporters that there's any credence.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds like
think
wishful
wishful
thinking.
thinking, Pete.
Yeah, I think we can safely say that's wishful thinking. What if Man United ever did come up for sale? I'm sure he'd be interested.
Right.
He first needs to take care of his cycling team. They're getting dominated by the Slovenians.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, they even lost the Giro d'Italia to Jai Hindley.
Probably ain't giving him enough drugs, then, are they? Because let's face it, that's all cycling's about.
Yeah,
Rob,
it is. Yeah.
Who
are you
floats the
aware?
best?
Rob, are you aware of the new winner of Giro d'Italia? He's Australian. I think he must be your brother or something now.
Hey, you're talking another language right now. I've got no idea about any of that stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on. What do you guys?
If he was
Your
British, you'd
closing
never
thoughts.
hear the end of it in Britain about no matter what the sport is. Even when it was fucking curling, they never stopped talking about it, did they? Remember, Bill? Even when it was
Yeah, yeah,
curling, it became a big thing. Suddenly, everyone was into curling.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, even though nobody had heard of curling before that, like, but
No.
they won summit, so suddenly everyone liked curling in the UK. Anyway, so it's right. Do we think this is going to put Chelsea, but closer to City and Liverpool, or are they just going to stay rooted in third place? I think personally, I've got to say that until they get rid of Tuchel, I think they're stuck in third place because he's simply not good enough to put them up against Klopp and Pep. I think they're
Yeah,
just much better coaches, so that's their issue.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with
Not
that.
Then,
as good a
but
team. I don't think Chelsea are as good a team, as balanced a team as City and Liverpool either right now.
Yeah, but he can spend. That's what I'm saying. Like, even if they spend money, I don't think it's going to make any difference because of Tuchel. I think that's the issue they've got now.
there's no saying that he's guaranteed his job, is there? Especially with a new owner coming in, they like to mess about with the
True.
manager and change it. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tuchel went.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you don't want to keep a manager who's no good, do you?
No.
It's no good in your eyes and in mine, but not in most of the other people's.
Yeah, the Chelsea fans, a lot of them love him. Some of them hate him because his football's dire, but most of them seem to think he's wonderful because he won the Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see them breaking into the Liverpool City fold at all. I think they might in a few years if they invest more and get a better manager. But at the moment, I can't see them breaking the City Liverpool monopoly myself. I can't see Man United either doing it. And I can't see Newcastle doing it for quite a few years. But
Hang on,
that's just my
hang
take, I
on.
suppose.
Why would we not do it? We have the new Messiah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot about him, yeah.
Yeah, well, he did say City and Liverpool have had a very good era, but all eras must come to an end.
Yeah, you're
He's
right there,
talked.
Deeps.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it. It's Eric Ten Hag. He's talked a very good game. Let's see how he can do it on the field.
Yeah, that's the point, Deeps, isn't it? That is the point.
I don't think he's gonna get the necessary support to succeed. So I'm skeptical. Not about him, about the shithole that we are.
I don't think you will be challenging this year, Deeps, to be honest with you, this season coming.
I don't expect us to. I don't expect us to. I don't think anybody expects us to be doing that. I can't say the word again.
But you have got the wherewithal to do it because you've got the money. And but I don't think United, I can't see United being a real threat to the top two for maybe 3 or 4 years, even if Ten Hag
How,
is really good.
how the hell did I manage to make the question? Do you think Chelsea are gonna get closer into talking about United again?
Because you always do, Deeps. You always
Yes,
do.
we're talking about sleeping giants, and you are one of the biggest sleeping giants.
Would
We
we
are the
put
biggest.
Would we have put Forest in as a sleeping giant before this season?
Maybe not. I think they fell off the rails for a while. I'm actually happy that they've come up. You know, they're a big club, and they've got 2 European Cups. And I think their pedigree says that they could, if money's invested properly into them, become a mid-table team. But that's it at the moment. I can't see them going anywhere further than that at this present time.
Just wondered if anyone, because I wouldn't. I'd say they were. That's one of the things that made what Clough did so special is that they weren't a giant when he was in charge either.
Yeah, very possibly. But they have got a bit of pedigree, haven't they? You know, so they've come up. Let's see what they do this year. See if they can survive, because it's going to be a survival thing for Notts Forest. I know we've diversified here and gone on to a different subject, but I see Nottingham Forest as one of the bigger clubs in the country. They haven't been for a while, as you're talking about sleeping giants, but I'd like to see them do well, but I can't see them ever challenging for the top six at this present time.
Okay.
Right, what's our next
Anybody else?
subject, Tris?
I was thinking we'll just go down the list. I know that these ain't in a good order, so it is a bit of a messy. It's going to be a bit messy because we haven't got
Okay,
it all in order. But I was thinking next week talk about Mane leaving Liverpool.
right. Rob, what do you think about that, mate? You're first
Uh,
up.
I was kind of surprised because I just had this feeling that he was going to stay, but you can't almost blame him for wanting to move on. He's been a good servant. He's been one of those signings that Klopp's had since he's almost first come in and been part of that transformation. He become a really good player, one of my personal favourites. He did have a good second half of this season, but we have seen, signs of him taking a bit of a decline in a way. It is hard to keep that level. Like prior to when he got COVID and all that stuff came along, he was absolutely boss. But like I said, man, sad to see him go, but I can understand it. I wish him luck wherever he goes. Hopefully, he does well. I'm just kind of grateful and happy that I got to see him at Anfield for 6 years.
Yeah. Echo that, yeah.
Yeah,
Where'd you say, Trish? How'd you
I
say it?
love Mane, but yeah, I think he should have gone last summer. I said it at the time. That was my thought then. I think there were signs he's on a decline. I think we could have sold and made a good amount of money, and then this summer it would have been the time to move Salah on because obviously the front three needs to be refreshed. And you don't want to end up in a situation like Real Madrid where you've got when they got too old and they couldn't refresh it and they've ended up that's where they struggled because they kept older Ronaldo too long. Great as he was as a player, you need to know when to sell them. And I think for me, the time to sell Mane was last summer. I think we missed
Don't
out.
say it. Don't say that Liverpool front three have gotten old. I
Well,
still get pelters
I
for
know.
saying it last season.
I know
People
they're not
still
old, but
they're
you know what I
older
mean.
though. People think like footballers retire at 60 like the normal people. No, they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
When your
And
career is hardly 18 years, 12 years on is getting on. It's 2/3. Am I
Yeah.
right? If you make,
yeah,
you would
exactly.
assume somebody a normal player makes his debut at around 18 and retires at around 36. Give or take 2-3 years here and there on
Yeah,
average. So if you're
I
getting
think
around
it's been
30,
great.
then you're getting closer to retirement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
And I fully
times move
agree.
on. Times move on, don't they? I remember going back to like the Keegans and your Dalglishes and Ian Rush, and people saying you're never going to replace them. You can't let him go. You'd always find someone else, don't you? You said about Robbie Fowler, no one's ever going to be, and then someone else comes along, and it was Suarez at the time, probably when Fowler left, but there was, there is always someone else
It
out there
was
who can.
Torres.
Torres,
It
Fernando
was
Torres.
Torres.
Torres, yeah,
Fernando
yeah,
Torres.
Yeah.
yeah, and
They
there is
said
always
Torres
someone
was
Suarez
else.
replaced
irreplaceable.
Torres. Suarez replaced Torres.
And Lambert
Yeah,
replaced Suarez.
Well, what better way? What
nah,
better
you
way
go
could
to
you
an extreme
replace?
there.
What better way could you replace Suarez than with Torres?
I
But
hope
I've seen some
Liverpool
great
will pull
Liverpool
off
centre
something
forwards.
similar. Yeah, from Suarez to Lambert, from Mane to who?
Well,
Yeah, who are you
well,
going to get?
that's what I was thinking. Mane was more played as a central attacker in that second half of the season with the arrival
Yeah,
of
he
Luis
was. Yeah,
Diaz. So with the departure of Origi, who I know didn't get a lot of
Oh,
minutes.
don't please.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
I
gonna
know that.
cry.
I know. I love him too,
I
Twist.
love Divi.
Um, with Divi going now, with Mane going, I know we've brought in the young Carvalho, or whatever like we've pronounced it. I know we've brought him in,
And Elliot can
but
play there. And
and
Jones.
Elliot, correct. But with already those two departures so early in the window, or the window's not even open, I should say. Already with the news of those two departures, and potentially could be more. Surely we'd be looking to bring in a central striker, attacking player, as you'd want to call it.
would you want a big name, Rob? Would you want a big name?
Look,
Hang on,
big
hang
names
on, guys.
turning
Nobody mentioned the forgotten man, the
Firmino.
invisible guy. Yeah, nobody
Oh
said.
yeah,
Oh,
don't mention that.
Bobby's
The Invisible Man. Don't
got to
mention the
keep.
Invisible Man. He's going anyway.
No, but
He's
Got to
going
Billy,
to
you are right.
Accrington.
Billy, you're
He's
right.
going.
Bobby.
He's become invisible. Even the Liverpool
He's
supporters
going to
can't name him.
Accrington. He's
He's
going to
been
Accrington
injured.
as a
He's been
backup
injured all
striker.
season. So you can't
Got
really.
to.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
it's the other way of
Minamino's.
saying his shit.
No, he's not. He played really well in the games he played. He was having a good season till he got injured, and then he came back and he looked good when he came back. But obviously it was too late then in the season to actually make an impact. What was I going to say? The one for me that's a worry is Minamino might go as well, and for me, he's another one that could play that central role, or either wide position or in midfield. He's a player we desperately need to keep, and he should have got more minutes for me. I'd have played him ahead of Jota, anytime, all day long.
Yeah, me
Much,
too.
oh, definitely. I really like Minamino, and I don't understand why Klopp doesn't trust him more. But Klopp knows what he's doing, so.
Of course he does, yeah.
It's hard to argue
Got
with
it.
his decisions, but personally, I would have had Minamino ahead of Jota every time.
In regards to your question, Bill, about a big name, to me,
Yeah.
I don't care about big name in quotation mark because
No,
you look at
I'd like one.
big name. Sorry, Tris.
I was just going to say I'd like one with just 6 letters and Kunku.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's what I've been looking at recently. He looks quite the part. Um, uh, in terms of big name, Bill, big names can just bring big money, and I don't want to have a stab at United, but you look at the big names that they bring in, and it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily always mean that they're going to be good. I just want someone in there who's going to be good for what I know the way FSG work with the transfer policy and value for money. I get all that, and I do like it, but I just want someone brought in who's going to do the job, who can play the way we want to play, and be effective. I don't care if it's
Can I?
someone who's not a big name that become that Klopp can make into a bigger name. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Sorry, can I
Yeah.
just interrupt a sec? Can I just sorry? I just Billy Hogan's talked about the French minister commenting about Liverpool fans again.
Right,
Blaming
go
the
on.
Liverpool fans, saying that it was only Liverpool fans. He said basically it was only Liverpool fans that had issues, even though the Spanish and Real Madrid have complained. And he said that 30,000 to 40,000 turned up at the stadium. This is the French. He said it at the Senate
Minister.
committee, the French minister at the Senate committee. Absolute lies. Said that 30 to 40,000 fans turned up at the stadium either without tickets or with fake tickets, even though, as we've said, nobody was checking the fucking tickets, and even those that they were checking, they were turning away legitimate tickets. So how can they know whether it was fake tickets? It's just bullshit. It's just a way of putting the blame. But anyway, Billy Hogan said my response to the French minister's comment again, as I said earlier in the week, is just one of disbelief, frankly. Folks are probably aware that the Senate committee meeting yesterday was 3 hours, so there's still quite a bit for us to unpack in all of it. But overall, given the body of evidence through video, photographs, personal experiences, and this is not just from Liverpool fans, but from all fans that attended the match, media, English politicians, folks who travel from literally all corners of the world to be at this match, with people have seen now across social media and other media channels, it's just utter disbelief. He's saying the numbers turning up at the stadium. He said that the accusations about it. He's saying that's why we're asking for an open and transparent investigation. People are talking about details which haven't been shared, so we don't know whether it's true or not. Just people making accusations, but nobody's got the facts, so we don't know. And he's saying, with regard to the fact that this is only Liverpool fans, he's saying he spoke to his counterpart at Real Madrid yesterday, who made it clear their fans also had issues. They have major concerns with the match day operation, including the policing operation around the match, and they're equally concerned about having an independent and open investigation. And Real Madrid are about to be putting out some statements of their own regarding it as well. So
Oh,
just to back up what
I'll
we were
look forward
saying
to
earlier,
reading them.
yeah, just basically Liverpool just calling for another investigation. They're basically just saying that they want an investigation, and Real Madrid are wanting one as well, and they've said the problem was at their end as well. They're saying they've had 6,500 people have put down in writing and photographs of what they went through to help them analyse what's going on. So. Yeah, so basically they're just saying, he's pointing out that it isn't just Liverpool fans, as the French ministers are claiming. Real Madrid are about to put it out on their media channels as well about their complaints about the game. So they've already complained to UEFA. So we know it's just lies.
Right.
They're doubling down on the lies to try and cover up as per usual with authorities because that's what they do. Anyway, sorry, go back to the transfers. Sorry, I just thought it's important to get that in as it's come out now while we're on.
Yeah.
So.
No, thanks for the update,
Sorry, Rob.
Chris. Yeah, Rob, we
Go
were
on.
saying you were saying about you were saying about the Liverpool maybe signing a big name, maybe not. And I'm totally with Rob on this. I don't think you need to go for the Haalands and these big. I know you can't go for Haaland now, but I don't think you need to go, and I don't think it's Klopp's style to go for these 80, 100, 120 million Mbappes, Haalands, and all. I think Liverpool's philosophy has been excellent, which is buy good players, the good players, but make them better, make them into world-class players, make good players into world-class players. And that's been Klopp's philosophy. And I think it's the way to go for Liverpool still. You know, I don't think you need these massive names who come with the big reputation and the big pay packets. I think Liverpool are going the right way about it.
Liverpool are in big trouble because nobody at Southampton is doing any decent. I think they're in big trouble now. They can still improve.
And I could get
You
bored.
can't resist any
That's not true. Borgia played well, and the Kyle Walker Phillips, or whatever his name, Walker Phillips.
But he's a right back. He's not an attacker.
Yeah.
You need an
I know
attacker.
exactly. That's the problem. They've got nobody
And
good in the position
if you replaced Mane with an Adam Armstrong or a Che Adams,
God, yeah,
it would be your Lambert moment again.
Yeah, we really don't want someone like that. So they're awful. Anyway,
Right,
so
now, who do we go on?
what
Chris?
about
Move
what
on a
about
bit,
Nunes? I was going to say before United jump in and get
Yes.
Darwin Nunes. Yeah.
You guys should tell us about him. The Liverpool supporters. You watched him play 2 legs in the Champions League. How did he fare?
That's all I've seen him play was those 2 games against us, and he was blowing air by the 70th minute. So I don't know.
Are you a fan, Deeps? Are you a fan of Nunes?
Not watched him play a lot, but I've seen him being compared to the likes of Cavani in playing style.
Right.
So I don't know much about him. And Suarez seems to like him as well as a player.
Suarez.
But maybe it's just Luis Suarez. Maybe it's just them trying to get a good move, big move for a compatriot.
I'm going to say I haven't listened to him. Right.
No, but he seems to be after Vlahovic, Holland, and Mbappe being off the market. He seems to be the next big name young striker everybody's been looking at.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of him, but we would have seen. Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
So I think he's an unknown commodity like Luis Diaz was before signing for Liverpool.
Well, I don't think Diaz.
People had heard of his name, but were unsure about their quality.
I don't think you can put Diaz in that position. The moment I seen him play, he was fabulous against us. I said because Abid was saying he wasn't impressed, and I was saying I thought he was brilliant. I loved him. I really liked him. I thought he was the only player that turned up with them against us.
So, how do you see Liverpool setting up, Chris? How do you see Liverpool setting up next year?
I don't think much will change. It'll just be
I think you'll have Diaz on the left, Mane on the right. Who's going to come in the centre like Mane did? Who's going to come in and take that?
No, you mean Salah on the right.
Salah on the
right.
Maybe
Salah should play through the middle.
Salah on the right. Diaz on the left.
You said Mane on the
play
right.
in the middle. Sorry.
Well, for me, there's a lot of options. There's Elliott, there's Carvalho, there's Jones, there's Firmino, there's Minamino, Jota.
So you don't think they need to recruit from outside at the moment?
I'd still look to buy one because you want to have the strongest team possible. I'd definitely look to buy one. I'd want us to buy one. But like I said, it wouldn't necessarily have to be someone for the centre. Maybe someone like Nkunku, who can play wide as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or Jonathan David if it's a forward, maybe.
It's 9.
Hmm?
Yeah, Jonathan David if you want more of a false 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. But I definitely think we need to recruit. Yeah, you can't just. Much as I like them, I think they're kids and they need to be fed in along with, somebody else alongside them. They can't play every game. We've seen that this season they were knackered at the end of the season. The likes of Salah were out on their feet. They need to be rested more and rotated more. And you don't do that by having a weaker options to put in for them. So we definitely need to recruit.
Can you see any more outgoings, Tris, at Liverpool?
Definitely.
Yeah, there'll be quite a few. There'll be Ox going. I expect Taki Minamino to go, even though I'd hang on to him at all costs personally. Who else? Nico Williams looks
Milner.
likely to leave. Nat Phillips. No, I think Milner will stay for another season. Who else?
Nobody's taking Navigate off
I
your
wish
hands.
Cater would fuck off, but he won't. Let's be honest, he's on too big a wage. I mean, all this crap about protecting his value by giving him a new contract. What value? He's worthless. Just get him rid. Pay someone to take him if need be. Just please get rid of him.
No, but he's been a decent player. He's been fit
When?
all season and he's been okay.
When? He's had like
I
2
don't know.
games.
I don't know.
It was shite.
That is what someone just responded to me
Oh.
when I said he's not a debatable.
Oh,
It's not debatable whether he's been
people,
good or bad.
people live in a dream world because because he wasn't as shite as he'd been all season. He's still shit out of tackles regularly. He's still useless. No, I'm sorry. He'd be the first out the door for me. By
Yeah,
far. There would
I'm
be
with
no
Fritz on that
question.
one. Do you reckon there's any likely? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say the one that might be unusual and like most people would disagree with. The other one I'd get rid of would be Matip.
Martin.
And I know most people will disagree with me
Would
there,
you?
but for me, he can't defend. I don't like him. He's very good going forward. He's good on the ball and that, but defensively, he scares the crap out of me because you never know what he's going to do, and he's not good. He's not good positionally. He doesn't read the game well. He's often caught out by runners in behind because he doesn't read, that the player on the ball's got the ball in time and space, so he doesn't drop. He just stands high still or goes forward now. I'm sorry, he has that. For me, he'd be out the door, and I'd have Gomez.
So Kanate
And Gomez.
What if
would be the
Kanate got
ones-
injured?
Well, then you've got Gomez.
Yeah,
And Nat Phillips. I'd
What if
have Nat Phillips.
Kanate got injured, Tris?
Then-
If Kanate got injured, right,
Yeah.
and
Gomez.
and Gomez with his injury record, who comes in? Who comes in?
Well, Nat Phillips. Then.
Phillips.
But you can't have
You keep
have
Phillips.
17 defenders just in case one gets injured.
No, I'm not saying you can.
You've got to.
I'm not saying you can, but
You've got Gomez and Nat Phillips should be enough with Kanate and Van Dijk. That should be enough. For me.
all right.
I'd get rid of Matip over
I think
Nat
that's
Phillips.
okay, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he's being paid a huge amount of money because he was a free signing. He just
Yeah, I
doesn't.
can
He
see
just doesn't deserve the salary. And Gomez is young and can improve by getting those minutes. If Gomez had have had those minutes that Matip had, I think we'd have been in a better position. Because I think Gomez is a much better player. Simple as that.
I was just
really
about to
like
ask
Gomez.
you. With
Go on,
Martip looking, with Martip, looks like he's not leaving, right? There hasn't really been any talks of him leaving and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that with him looking like he's not going anywhere, do you think there's any likelihood that Joe Gomez goes?
Well, there's interest in him, and that's what worries me. Because he should be the one that we shouldn't be getting rid of. But yeah, no, for me, yeah, that's my worry is that he'll want to leave because he's not getting, he's not first choice, and he should be.
And if you're someone who is close to him, you would be suggesting him to get a move
Yeah, I would.
after the lack of minutes this season.
Yeah, and when he did play, he was at right back a lot of the time. That's a worry for me. No, yeah, for me Gomez would be, nah, if nothing else, he's better. He's more useful than Matic because he can play right back and left back, so he provides cover for three positions. Where Matic can play one position and that's it, and he's not as good in my opinion as Gomez in that position either.
Are you happy with Canate? You happy with Canate?
Well, he's young and he's improving. He's learning to play a back four from playing in a back three most of his career. So I'm happy to give him another season, at least to bed in and get used to the system. I
Abid
can't.
who doesn't rate him.
Yeah, Abid's the one who's got him for him, and I don't know why because he makes a few mistakes. Yeah, but I mean he's playing like you can still see him getting caught out because he's playing it like a back three. And that's going to take a while for him to learn. A good pre-season
Very
should help
young.
him. Yeah,
He's very young, and this is
yeah.
probably his first season in quite a while when he's been injury free most of the time.
And he's been in and out of the side as well, which doesn't help. He needs to be a more certain starter. Anyway, I think it's time to move on a bit from Liverpool.
What about Salah? What about Salah?
Well, like I
You
said,
had to address the elephant in the room.
well, I would have
There are
sold him
even
last.
rumors. There are rumors that he will probably look towards other Premier League club if
I don't
he gets
care.
to move on a free.
I honestly don't care where he goes if he's not at Liverpool. It's up to him. As long as he's happy with it, he's earned the right to go where he wants. As far as I'm concerned, good luck to him.
Okay, should we talk about Tottenham Hotspur? Well, mainly one of his players, one of their players, Ingman Son, not getting selected for the team of the year, player of the year.
Oh, okay.
Was he harshly treated?
Definitely.
Oh, 100% should have been the winner. Not just in it, not just in the list. He should be winning it.
Yeah, he won the Golden Boot along with Salah, but without taking any penalties.
I think he
You
fully
can't even.
deserves it. He had an excellent season.
I'm not saying scoring penalties are easy or anything, but if you're not even taking penalties, then it should be counted as at least being one of the best players, if not the best.
Well, if you're getting the golden boot, you're getting the same amount of goals as someone who took penalties. I think you should win. It should come down to who had the least penalties to take to the winner. They shouldn't have tied for it. I think Son deserved to win it. End of. How much as I'm happy that Salah got it. I don't think it's deserved. I think that should have been Son's.
No, but it does. No, I think sharing it is not good. I think it should come to maybe who had more assists or who had less minutes or whatever. Because you can't just say because it's penalty so it counts as less. If you score one goal in a game and it's a penalty, you win 1-0. If you score
Yeah, I
one
get what
goal
you're
in
saying.
the game and it's a
No, but
screamer
I'm
from 50
saying
yards out, it's a 1-0
Yeah, but
victory.
what my point is,
They count for the same.
I was saying, as a decider is what I mean. If you've both
Yeah,
got the
but
same and one's taken penalties and one hasn't, then surely the one who hasn't taken penalties should get the golden boot.
Yeah,
But then maybe you can say the one who has set his teammates more should win the Golden Boot.
Yeah, I
He's
can
been
see what you're saying,
involved in more
but the
goals.
golden boot is for goal scorers, not for goal assists. Goal providers. So.
Yeah, but after there's been a tie, you could say he has been involved in more goals.
Yeah, I mean you can argue it, but any way you want, really, can't you? But for me,
But it's a disgrace. The decision is a disgrace that he's not even been nominated for the PFA Player of the Year. And I like Ronaldo and everything, but surely.
What, Ronaldo's in there?
I think so.
Oh my god! I mean that's just ridiculous. How?
Popularity contest.
Yeah, that's what it is. But surely Son's fairly popular.
He should be, considering he's the only decent player from Asia playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another one, and I honestly can't.
I genuinely think he's the only guy that is in the Premier League on his playing merit, and him being Asian is just a bonus. Otherwise, I think most of the guys are there because they're Asian and good players, not the other way around. And good is subjective, anyways.
Yeah.
Asian is definitive.
Okay.
Yeah. So we all think he had a a raw deal, really, don't we? Son.
Hmm.
We think he's a good player. He is a good player. There's no doubt about it.
While we're on the
But
subject
you,
of Spurs, they
go
just
on.
signed Perisic. What do we think of that one?
All right.
Good signing.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so. I
he'll
think
be.
he's a good player.
Yeah, he'll
Getting
be
on though.
good under Conte.
Getting on though, isn't he? 30s, 33 is he now?
Yeah, somewhere
I'm not
around
sure.
that. But he's well versed in Conte's system,
True.
so he should be able to do a job at wing back.
Short
Just,
term.
just thinking
Yeah,
it's.
yeah, but it's Conte. It's gonna be short term.
Yeah, true,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, but I'm just thinking like, will he have time? Will he learn it in time? Learn to play in England in time? It's a hard one, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, hard one to say definitely right now, but I would say he will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll do okay. I think he'll do okay.
He sure as hell ain't gonna be nominated for PFA Player of the Year because Spurs win shit. Jack shit.
It used to be they didn't matter. They got every award and all their all their players were in the England team anyway. But yeah,
I
things
can
have
tell you
changed.
why he didn't make. I can tell you why Son didn't make it to the list because he managed to outscore the England captain. That is
Ah,
why
but so
they're
did
Yeah.
Salah.
taking it out on him.
So did Salah, and he got in there.
Yeah, but he didn't outsign him in Spurs.
Ah, good point. Good point. He's in a different team.
Harry Kane made it. Harry Kane made it and Son didn't. I'm again
Hmm.
going back to it, but come on.
That's ridiculous. That is nonsense. Oh my god, that is just nonsense. Anyway,
Son is definitely if it's not been done already, Son is definitely gonna win the Player of the Year for Spurs.
nah,
But he's been judged to have not had as good a season for them by the PFA.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand it. Anyway, should we move on? I'm just thinking the next thing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to discuss quickly the. I don't know if you've heard about Alan Pardew. He was technical director at Cesca Sofia, and he's just walked out on them because of the racist behaviour of their fans. He said a small
Who
group
are
of
their own
organised.
players?
Yeah, a small group of organised racist fans because of his assistant Alex Dyer, who's black. That he brought in recently, and they both walked out on Cesca Sofia now and just quit the club because of it.
I think power to them.
Good,
I'm
yeah,
happy about that.
good on them.
Uh,
It's what
I'd like
needs to
to
happen.
see other managers do the same.
Yeah, it's what needs to happen is people actually saying this isn't. I'm not happy with this and walk out on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not Pardew's biggest fan, I must be honest, but
No.
I'm happy to back him on that one.
Yeah, I think that's it. Good on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to stand by your beliefs.
Of course you have, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should. While we're on the subject of managers leaving, I know you wanted to talk about Bordeaux at Valencia.
Yeah, Bordalas.
Borderless. I thought we pronounced Bordeaux. Bordeaux. When it's one.
Yeah,
No, it's
we're
two L's.
yeah we're
No,
we're
two
the
L's.
signing example of
No,
pronunciating Spanish names.
I should know it. My mum and dad are both fluent in Spanish, and my dad was working as a Spanish translator over there, and he was trying to teach me, but I'm useless at it. It's double L. That's why. I forgot. Double L is why. It's Bordalis, isn't it? Because it's one L.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Valencia are about to get rid of him and replace him with Gennaro Gattuso. At least if you're gonna get rid of someone, bring in someone who's better.
You're
Sometimes
not a
maybe good,
Gattuso fan?
maybe fit.
I'm not a Gattuso fan. As a manager, I'm not. He's not done anything wonderful. And Valencia are already in a mess. They were just like a they were in the Copa del Rey final. They lost the game on penalties. Penalties can be a luck of the draw for someone.
Yeah.
They nearly got relegated last season or season before. You can't be expecting them to be getting back to Champions League again.
The Spanish are bizarre. They really
No,
are.
the Valencia owner is bizarre.
It's what's his name, isn't it? Peter
Peter
Lim.
Lim. Yeah,
Yeah,
Peter Lim.
not right in the head to him at all. But Spanish in general, they're bizarre anyway. Their attitude, they're weird.
Can I ask you who you think the next manager in the Premier League to leave the club would be? Who's the first one out the door?
You
Is
you
that?
you're trying to make me say it again.
No, I'm not trying to say. I think your one's all
Hasenhutl.
right.
Hasenhutl.
Sleepy Z. I think
Yeah.
Sleepy Z. Next season is gonna be Sleepy Z after Villa sleep out of the Premier League. Like
Yeah.
Premier League top off. Sorry, I'm not saying they're gonna get relegated after 5 games, but
So what are you saying, Tris? Aston Holt? Are you saying he's
Yeah, I
going to be?
think Hasenhutl will go. I'm surprised he's still there. I keep expecting to
I think
read each day that he's been sacked, to be honest.
How
I
about
think
you,
he's
Rob?
gonna be. I think he's gonna get his P45 before the start of season. As an auto,
Maybe.
I don't. Yeah, with the new owners and the fans starting to really turn on him, I think they might get rid of him this window already.
Mm. Yeah, the
How
fans
about you,
don't
Rob?
like him.
Who do you think? Who do you think's going to be the first out the door?
Thousand Huddle's probably the most obvious shout, so you've got to include him. Also, like Deep said, Stevie G, I reckon he could be another casualty. Not that far into the season. Probably whoever's managing Fulham.
Marco
um,
Silva.
yeah, probably he would get the boot. Or what's his name from Leeds, the American bloke. Got
Jesse
his name.
Marsh.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, he can't last long because he's shit. But
Yeah, he'll be going. I
I
expect.
don't. They keep saying. I keep
Billy,
reading on there. Have you actually read any of the lead site teams? They
I
keep
don't.
saying. They keep saying how well he did at Salzburg and that, and what a he's great at bringing through youth players. I'm like, do they actually know anything about the guy, or do they just make it up? Because he didn't impress at all anywhere he's been in Europe. There
Yeah,
you
but
go.
doing a good job at Salzburg is like, come on, you
Well,
have it
it's
handed to you on a platter.
exactly.
Everybody does a good job there because you're by far and away the best team. You're by far and away the best run team.
And it's all done anyway. You don't have to do anything. You're just taking over the team that's ticking over. You just keep it ticking over. That's all he did. But that's what I'm saying. They're saying about he brought through. He didn't do anything there. It's just bizarre to me. And I think you might have a point with Stevie G as well, though. I've got to say because Michael Beale's left, hasn't he? So
And he was supposed to be the brains behind most of it.
yeah,
His,
though tactical brains to behind a manager who wasn't very good tactically isn't maybe necessarily such a problem, though.
I think they'll give
but
Stevie
but
G more
sadly,
time. To
Billy,
be honest with
sadly,
you.
Who?
What are you
Billy,
saying?
nobody mentioned Frank Lampard for you.
Hmm.
I don't think he will be a casualty. I I would
But you would
personally like
like
him
to.
to be yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like him to be a casualty, but I don't think he will. I think they're going to stick with him.
Yeah, I'm
All the
mixed.
all the things I'm hearing from the inside the club, people to do with the club, is that they're happy with Frank. And
Lingard and now Mata.
Lingard. Jesus, what will you do about Jesse Lingard, eh?
Yeah, maybe we should have given the young kid a season or more to impress. Maybe
Yeah.
loan him out.
Why do people keep saying he's a young kid? That's the thing I don't get with Lingard. He's like 29 years old or something, isn't he?
I don't think he's a young kid. I think he has a young kid.
Yeah. No, I mean, people keep saying that about you, keep reading about him, and they talk about him being a kid and that, and you're thinking, hang on, he's 29 or 30
Maybe.
or something.
Yeah, he's nearing 30. Maybe they're
Yeah.
just kidding.
I don't know. I just think there's something weird that, like, people just seem to forget how old he is, and when they talk about him, maybe
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's so
yeah,
immature.
maybe, maybe.
So, what do you think
But
United need
Everton
to do?
get rid of some more players.
Yeah, but
Firstly,
you're stuck with Maguire and Varane, and they're both shit. But you're stuck with them. So, what are you gonna
yeah,
do
but
to?
even the five players I just mentioned, they hardly played
Mm,
meaningful minutes under Rannick.
exactly. So you're not actually
I don't.
making a dent in the team, are you, to get rid of the dross?
Yeah, it's we freed up significant money on wages, but we've not lost much of the minutes.
Mm.
Mata only played
Yeah.
like half a dozen games, if that at all season. Cavani never bothered to turn up after like first few games. Pogba is a perennial sick note nowadays. Matic can only have one good game once every fortnight. And Lingard was promised a big role, but then got no role in the squad.
Where do you
Yeah.
Yeah.
think Lingard will end up?
Sorry?
Where do you think
I think he'll
Lingard
go
will
back
end
to West Ham. I think he'll go back to West Ham, personally. I think he had a good
Maybe
time there.
Everton.
up? West Ham will sign him when they let Jared Bowen go to Liverpool.
Very
Everton.
possibly.
I
Good
think it.
shout there.
What about Everton? Signing him Lampard, English.
Yeah,
Yeah,
closer to his home as well.
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm serious. He does have a young kid as well, so
Yeah, so he doesn't have to move.
maybe he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't need a new house and anything.
Yeah, no turmoil of moving house and all that. Like, you just carry on as he is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just points, I suppose. I
seems
wouldn't
to
be
make
overly
sense.
disappointed, to be honest with you, with that Jesse Lingard.
He
I think
would
he's
be your
better than
best
what
player. He would be your best player.
Oh, gee, come on. Come on, Deeps. They're not that bad. They've still got Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
I think he
Young
could.
Anthony done well.
Yeah, I think he's better than Jesse Lingard, to be fair. Though Lingard's not a bad player. I don't think he's as bad as people seem to think. I don't understand.
He's all right.
His problem is he just seems to have a real immature streak, which could hopefully be
Yeah.
cured by having kids. But yeah, it's just too late for him to resurrect a career. I think at his age.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on, just a year ago he was one of the informed players in the league.
Well, for about 4 or 5 games, and then he's tailed
No,
off
for four or
quickly.
5 months.
No, it tailed off quickly, Deeps. He just he was popping up with goals, but he wasn't playing so well after. His performances gradually tailed off from the first few.
So what you're saying is he did a Jota,
Yeah,
scored some goals, but then did
and
jack shit.
yeah, and it covered over his weak. It covered over his over the performances a lot of the
No,
time.
but there's a decent player in there somewhere.
Oh, I think
If
so as
you can
well.
get him firing.
It's his
I agree
attitude
with
is
him.
the problem. He's just very immature, which is probably.
Yeah,
I
but
really do
but
think
let's
that's
say
why.
on paper. Okay, Chris. On paper, if you are given a choice between Dele Alli and Jesse Lingard, who do you take?
Lingard all day long, without even
Yeah,
questioning it. I wouldn't touch
Yeah.
Deli Ali at all. I don't understand why Everton did. I
I understand
don't.
why they did it because they're a stupid club, just like
Yeah,
us.
yeah, true.
I
That's
like that.
a fair
I like
point.
that team.
Come
Fair
on,
point. You
really.
can't really argue with that one.
There are only two stupid clubs, like genuinely stupid clubs that do again and again the same mistakes.
It does tend to be
Everton, Man
Everton.
It's
United.
Yeah,
us. Yeah,
yeah.
if it is humongous money, it's Man United. If it is stupid money, it's Everton.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, to be honest with you. Steve. I can't argue with you.
So
Where's Mr. Pogba off to Juventus?
I think What about PSG?
No, I don't think he will go to PSG because
I
Luis
think he
Campos doesn't seem to fancy him.
Yeah.
The new director of football at PSG doesn't seem to fancy him, Luis Campos.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. I didn't hear what you said. Then I got you now. Sorry. I
Where do
thought
you
you.
think he'll go then,
I think
Hicks?
Italy because that's where he wants to be.
Yeah, Juventus are the
But
team that is most prominently linked to him.
I think he'll just go back to Italy with someone. But
Yeah, maybe.
but PSG is a possibility because they like French players. You know, they want a French
That's got to
identity.
be that's got to be one of the worst pieces of business I've ever seen. Released on a free, signed for 100, released on a free.
89.
Oh,
No, it's
close
100
enough.
million euros. He's right. Rob is right.
Oh
It's
yeah,
100 million
euros.
euros.
Yeah, I forget euros. Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, world record fee for a player who's not. Who they
No, but
let,
come on, it's just Manchester United in a nutshell.
It is very true. That's what's gone wrong with them, and it began during the Fergie era as well, which is something else that all the things that have gone wrong happened during the Fergie era to start with, like the Glazers coming in, and he was responsible for a lot of that through his greed. He's the reason why Man United are in a mess. Sadly, after all he did for the club, it's his fault that they're in a mess afterwards.
Really?
Yeah, well, the Glazers came in because of he approached them to bring them in because he'd fallen out with the previous the previous board. It was
Over a horse,
yeah,
over a fucking
the
racing
Rock of
horse.
Gibraltar because he was given it
Yeah,
as a gift by two of his
it was, yeah.
friends,
JP McManus,
yeah,
yeah.
and they bought into Man United. It is, because they were mates of his, and he said, "Oh, buy into Man United, you'll make money." So they bought into Man United, and they were on the board. And then they fell out with Fergie over Rock of Gibraltar, which was weird. That like millions, and like he wanted a cut of the money, and they fell out, and they started being obstructive to Ferguson. So he cast around for someone to buy, to come in and buy the club, and that's where the Glazers stepped in.
And
Wow.
also with Pogba left on a
And
free
yeah,
because Ferguson wanted I think his son to be his
yeah, his
agent.
son.
Pogba got Mino Raiola in. He had a huge falling out with Raiola.
Yeah,
That we never managed to repair the relationship with Raiola, even
exactly.
after all these long years.
Yeah, it's a shame because Ferguson's
That
legacy
is why
should
he
be
didn't.
what he
Yeah, that
was.
is why he was released on a free, in air quotations. And when we got back, that is why we got ripped off.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, so for
Yeah.
all the good Ferguson done, he also left a lot of, he's also caused a lot of harm to the club, and it's the reason why it's
Nobody
in a
is
mess since.
perfect. It just
Yeah,
sums up.
exactly.
Nobody is perfect.
Yeah, even the greats can mess up, but greed is a problem. Speaking of
Yeah.
greed, so Mbappe signs for PSG, signs a new contract with PSG on obscene amounts of money, and it looks like they're going to
Come
have to
on,
let.
Tris. Come on, Tris. You must understand. He wants to play in France.
Oh
It's
yeah,
his
League
home
One.
country. Yeah,
Yeah,
and in
it's
his
such
own league.
competition. Yeah, in a really difficult competition. Yeah, considering he'd been saying about joining
He didn't
Liverpool
sign it
and
for the
and
money.
Real
Come on. He
Madrid
doesn't
and
need the one. Yeah, he doesn't need the 150 million euros. It's for the love of the French
oh yeah,
football.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's nothing to do with the money, and that just happens to be completely unrelated to what he's saying. But
You
anyway,
must be happy. You must be happy that Real Madrid got dissed at the last moment. They were left hanging on the altar.
mm, yeah, that's. But no, I don't. I mean, I just find it a bit distasteful. Now, what the thing is, what happens with Neymar? Because I can see Chelsea moving in for him.
Hope they do. I hope they do. I pray to God they bring him in.
But I mean, for me, if I was, if I was a club, I wouldn't touch Neymar with a barge pole. The guy who was booted off by Nike, as I've mentioned before, he was booted out by
I
Nike
don't.
for sexually assaulting one of their employees or raping, basically. But they couldn't, which is a problem in Brazil anyway. There's a massive problem with rape there, and they defend it. They've defended Robinho from charges and that. He's a real pro, and he's an arsehole. And he's a footballer that's more of a show pony than an actual player. He's skives off regularly to go for fiestas and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why would anybody want to pay him a huge amount of money to join them? And that's what looks like it's going to happen.
I don't
They're,
like
they're
buying
being linked.
Neymar even in video games.
I
When
wouldn't
I
touch
play
him.
football games, I don't buy him. I hate conceding to him even in video games.
Has there been links to him to Chelsea, has there?
They've always had interest in him, even when he was in Brazil.
Yeah,
But Chelsea don't like to pay stupid money, especially in wages and bonuses.
yeah, but that was under Roman and Marina when they were running it as a business, and they had to keep it within. Roman wanted it turned into a profitable
That is why,
company,
yeah.
and Marina was running a tight ship, and that's why they were doing everything to make money in the transfer market. Under the
That's why
new
they didn't
ownership,
sign
and it
Holland.
looks like Marina's going. Looks like she's going to be replaced. So, now could be a possibility.
Chelsea had serious discussions about Holland last season, like before signing Lukaku.
Yeah,
He wanted ridiculous money, and they said, "That's too much. We're gonna take a leave now."
yeah. And then they
That
paid
is why.
and then
That
they
is why
paid a
we know
huge
that
amount of
Holland.
money for Lukaku.
Yeah, but they didn't pay Lukaku huge money. I said they don't want to play the players huge money, like obscenely huge money.
That was under Roman though. This is a new era. We don't know what Bowley will do, but I wouldn't put it past them
Only
to
time
sign
will
him.
tell. Only time will tell. Maybe I think he's. They might want to sign him.
And they've lost quite a few players, remember, and they need somebody to play. They need some attacking players to score goals because they struggle a bit there with Werner and
Yeah, that
Lukaku.
is what I.
So,
That is why I was saying beforehand, Chris, that I don't think they're anywhere near the cities and Liverpool's. They
yeah,
have holes in defense. They have holes in defense. They have weakness in midfield, and they have serious lack of firepower in attack. Consistent firepower in attack, and they don't have the manager to compensate for it.
but the
I
defence
was
should
thinking,
improve now Rudiger's gone.
I was going to say, it looks like they're
He's signed for
going to need a whole
Madrid
new backline.
because he's just signed for Madrid, hasn't he? So
You got him
Yeah, it's
going. Marcos Alonso looks like he's going on
Christensen's
Barca.
gone.
Christensen, Azpilicueta.
Yeah, they all look to be
Well,
going to
well,
Barca.
yeah, but they're bringing in Jules Koundé.
Yeah, Koundé's coming in. He'll be
Is
a
that
good.
is that
He'll be a good signing.
is
And
that
they've got what's his name, Chalobah and Sarr, who are young defenders who'll get more minutes.
Yeah, but they need another guy. They need another body to be a starter week in, week out. They can't rely on Thiago Silva playing another 50 games.
No, but
Not that
when
he's
he
played 50
plays,
again this season, but
he's some player in. Fabulous player.
yeah, but you would want someone to already be there before he leaves. Learn
Yeah,
from him.
yeah, you'd want someone in for this season. But they've got
Harry Maguire. They can get Harry Maguire. He's going cheap, I believe.
yeah. No, I don't think anybody's going to
I
buy
think I
him.
think Chelsea would be expecting at least 50 million pound from Man United to take him off of our hands.
Yeah.
Good point, Deeps.
Probably more. I think they'd want a lot more than 50 million to take him off their hands. Oh god, you really wouldn't want to sign him, but it does throw into the spotlight the Chelsea transfer policy of late, letting the likes of Guay and Tomori go,
Yeah.
and suddenly half their defence is gone.
I think they'll buy players though with the new owners. I think they're going to buy some good players. I think expect them to be challenging for third next year again. Not once or two, but I think they'd be in third to get
Yeah,
next year.
should do. It depends on who comes in and whether they replace
Yeah,
Tuchel, and I mean, there's lots can change there. They could buy a lot of players and that, yeah. But yeah.
yeah.
Speaking of their ex-players that left though, and central defenders, did you see Zuma and his brother got given community service
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that cat
yeah.
kicking thing?
Not allowed to own a cat for what, 5 years as well?
Yeah, how is that a punishment? I mean, the guy shouldn't be allowed to own any kind of pet ever again in his life. End of. And
Yeah.
anybody that sells a pet to him should be removed from owning pets as well. It's like, you've seen what he's done. He kicked that cat across the room.
Yeah.
Sick human being.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's down to greed. He thinks he can do what he wants. Footballers think they can do what they want. They think they can rape people. They think they can, abuse animals, abuse other people. It's down to greed again for me. Like,
his brother's just got a new contract with Dagenham and Redbridge. I know, basically, the last thing I'd be doing is giving the lad a new contract. He'd never play for my club again if it was me, but there you go. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either, Trish, no.
Funny,
and on that note, boys, I'm going to have to leave yet. It's starting to rain here, and I've got to cover all my patio furniture up. And so I'm going to get off, and thank you very much for having us this week again. And I'll see you at the next one, whenever that may be, because the season's finished. But
see you next
it's been
Thursday,
really good year, and let's hope it continues into next season.
Okay, mate.
But we'll do one next year. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much, boys.
Have a good weekend, mate.
Yeah, you too, and I shall see you all next week. Ta-da, Deeps. Ta-da, Rob. Ta-da, Trent. Ta-da, boys.
See you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Not Tuesday.
Yeah.
So before now, with Billy going, we'll carry. We still got a couple of things. Are you two okay to carry on?
Yep.
Let it rip.
We're going to say AC Milan about to be bought by Redbird, who are part owners of FSG. £1 billion.
Yeah.
The valuation. They're not paying that because they're only buying a majority stake in it from Elliott Advisors. Because they only inherited the club, obviously. They only inherited a club in a mess from Lee Jung-hung after he failed to make all the payments on it. So they ended up with this club, and they've turned it around and it won the league. Admittedly, they're the biggest spenders in recent years as well in Italy. So winning the league's not that big a feat as people seem to make out. Because the biggest spenders tend to win things. So, but still, I mean, it's be interesting to see how what Redbird are going to do, considering they already own Liverpool. Will there be any kind of cross loans and stuff like that?
They also own Toulouse FC from France.
Because the reason why it's called Redbird is the liver bird. That's why it's named Redbird in the first place. So.
Well, there you go.
I wonder if there will be any kind of because obviously FSG were looking into making it a group like Man City group.
Could be a Watford Udinese kind of thing.
Origi's moving to Milan.
Exactly.
Not that it's connected to Redbird Group.
Well,
it's not connected to them.
Is it though? Because perhaps they could have word in his ear. Who knows?
Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. But you never know, do you?
Yeah. We can always speculate.
Well, that's what you do in a rumours site, isn't it? Just one last thing I was thinking we could talk about, and that's Ukraine in the football, not
it's
Ukraine
Scotland
itself. Yeah, and having to face Wales.
Scotland. Yeah.
And they've got Wales to beat to get into the World Cup. you've got to say Scotland, they were on a hiding to nothing. If they weren't, everyone would just say, well, it was only, they've got played, they've all like, been worrying about the war. It's the last thing on their mind. And if they, when they lose, everyone's just having to go at them for losing to a team that's got, got it on their mind, And now they got Wales, who are in a similar position. They're on a hiding to nothing, aren't they?
Yeah.
What a
It's
week
gonna be,
for Andy Robertson.
Where's
be
that?
What a
interesting.
terrible week.
Yeah,
What a terrible fortnight.
yeah.
Lost the league
All
by
right,
a
dude.
point.
But
Lost the Champions League final by a goal.
but at least he got
And
there.
then sees his national side be kicked out
Got to say, it
from the World Cup.
probably worse for Tierney. He didn't even make the team because he was injured again, didn't he? Or have I
I
misheard
don't
that?
think he should be saying the word again. He's injured, that's all.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever fit. No wonder they called him Biscuit Hips.
No, but isn't he supposed to be the best left back in the world,
Mm,
according to some Arsenal supporters?
I don't get it. He's all right, but he's not a bad left back. But it's just never, never fit. So
Oh, he could be the best player ever, but nobody knows he doesn't play. He doesn't play enough.
exactly. So do we?
Maybe he's better than Ronaldo and Messi combined, but you'd never know.
Yeah, we'll never find out. So what do you think now, Ukraine? Will they get through or won't they? That's the question.
Go on.
Flipping a coin, really. The whole world's kind of behind them, so I reckon they'll do it.
I'm gonna
Deeks?
say no. I'm gonna say no. So next time when they play the match, one of us is gonna be able to say, "I told you."
Yeah. Yeah, I was right. You were wrong.
One of us is gonna be right, and one of us is gonna be wrong.
Well,
And I just took the other option. I just took the other option just to cover our asses.
yeah, at least it makes it more interesting that way. I was going to say it. I would have said it if you hadn't. So, yeah. Yeah, I can see that being a tough ask. It must be emotional for them. I can see them being a bit, the emotion having got to them after winning against Scotland and that, and then probably get, how can I explain it? Like, like adrenaline. You get, I don't know if you know anything like MMA. They often talk about like a fighter who gets in there, get too wound up, too excited, too wound up in a fight and loses it. His legs just go because he gets an adrenaline dump part way through.
Yeah.
You mean Jose Aldo
Well,
against Conor McGregor?
it's happened to it happens regularly, especially new fighters coming in and they're not used. They get too excited and they allow themselves to get carried away and tire themselves out. But it's often like it just you could just see them. They just go all of a sudden. They're just gassed, and it's the emotion gets to them, and it's I think Ukraine might well suffer the same thing. I actually fear for
Yeah,
them.
but Wales have Ryan Giggs as manager, so
No, he's not. It's Robert Page.
not been cleared.
What? Robert Page was managing them still, isn't he? Last I saw was Robert Page in charge as Giggs returned, does he? Oh,
Yeah. I'm not sure whether he's returned or not.
I must have missed it. If we did, it could be. I mean, I'd take your word for it if you. But last I heard, it was
No, no, no.
Robert
I,
Page was
I'm I'm
taking
also
charge of.
speculating.
Oh right. Oh, so you're just making stuff up to confuse me and make me look stupid. You didn't even need to make stuff up to do that, mate.
Tris,
Hmm.
we're going to discuss the final.
We did
But
that at the
that
beginning. That
already.
was the first thing we did, mate. But if you want to go ahead and
Oh,
talk about it, you could tell us about what
oh,
because we
so
didn't
the,
get
so the
because you missed out.
so the 10 minutes that I
Yeah,
missed the key talking point.
yeah, that was what we were talking about. But you can jump in now
No.
and give your view of it now, mate. You want to?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that it had been spoken about.
That's all right.
Well,
That was hours ago. So
took me took me about 5 days to get over that loss. Well, I must admit, I was left extremely disappointed in the performance from Liverpool. Going into the game, I was very confident, but then once the dust has settled and you start to really think about it, the result really isn't that much of a surprise to me now when I'm thinking with more of a clear mind than obviously being upset and distraught just after the final whistle and the 5 days that followed with me. So the more I think about it now, the more the more unsurprised I actually am. If I think back to the last month or so, before even leading up to the Champions League final, we looked gassed, we looked leggy. It took us, it took a lot of effort to with the Premier League um, title race with City. You could see
yeah,
we weren't
exactly.
playing good. You could see, players like when you're playing that many games a season, especially players like Salah who'd been off and Mane and such who'd been off and done AFCONs and World Cup qualifiers going, extra time. It's easy for us non-footballers to sit here and say, oh, run more. Why do they look so tired? But at the end of the day, that long of a season, it looked like it was physically impossible to keep up with the levels that we were at one stage. So now like I said, now looking back with a clearer mind and not being a little sook about it, now it looks a lot more it looks a lot easier to look at. Sorry, because at the time I was left with a lot of disappointment in the way we played. Um, you could see again, it was just one of those repeat performances towards the end of the season where they just looked tired. Obviously, I don't. We've already spoken about the before the game incidents and stuff like that, which wouldn't have helped, I don't think. But at the end of the day, look, I'm glad we got there. Uh, I hear people, the whole world's raving about Courtois. The save he made against Mane in the first half was brilliant. I thought that was good. But the other ones, people are raving and moaning. It's like, well, you kind of expected him to save those. The one against
Mm.
Mane for me was his best save. The one where he's dived opposite way, looked like his body was leaning to the left, and he's come back to the right, got a touch on it, and tipped it on. That was fantastic. But um, substitutions I felt were a bit strange. Um, bringing on Jota. So for me, it was so early on in the game and such. I just think it was looked inevitable that we were going to lose while the game was on.
Mm.
A lot of my friends were carrying on about the goal being offside. It wasn't offside. It was probably pretty close to being offside. Um, but yeah, we just didn't look good enough. One what was it? They had one or two shots on target compared to 16. So all this bullshit about
22.
stats to me doesn't make. Pardon?
Liverpool had 22 shots. They had something like three, didn't they, or six or
Yeah, well,
something
there you go.
in
So
total.
people people who rely on stats and everything, stats always doesn't win you games. So um,
But
yeah, look, it still hurts that we didn't come away with a major trophy. When you look at stats that have been thrown around, like Liverpool played 53 games all season and only dropped four, to end up with no major title does hurt. But like I
it's
said, when
two
when
major
when I pick
titles.
my but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a different viewing in England or such, but we're getting like I know. For example, myself, my friends are hammering me because they don't see FA Cups and Carabao Cups as a major trophy. Yeah, that's just how it is. The consensus of that is down here. So I've got my fair share of slack this week, which is fair enough because I can dish some out. But look, even after that chat I had with you in the private message about how I was feeling after the game, you're right. We were in 4 competitions, we won 2, and we came second in the other 2. So it is a successful season. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's always hard to lose a cup final, especially a Champions League final. But looking forward to a well-earned break now for the team. For myself personally, I can get some bloody sleep during the week instead of waking up 1 to 2 times a week and destroying my sleeping pattern. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the silly season of all the transfer talk. That's my favourite part. I don't know why. I've always been interested in the transfers and whispers and these players going there and checking all these journalists out on social media and seeing what they're saying. So that's the part I'm looking forward to, and I'm definitely looking forward to the sleep. But yeah, onwards and upwards after the end of the season break. I'm really excited to see what Klopp and Co.'s plans with the squad are. I think we've got a lot to do in terms of now. When we talked about before with Mane leaving, now he's a key player. He's someone who played nearly week in, week out. So we'll see what's going to be happening with some incomings. That's always exciting for us fans. I'm personally, like me and Billy spoke about before, I'm personally not the biggest on, I've got to sign big names for my own reasons, as I said. So I'm just really excited to see who we look to bring in, how young Carvalho looks to come in and to be integrated into the squad. I'm looking forward to seeing Harvey Elliott next season because he started off the season with such a bang. Yeah, because I love, from what I've seen of him, I love him. And like you said, Tris, some people were complaining after he'd come back this season, and you're like, hang on. The kid suffered a pretty horrific injury, and he's still a kid. For him to even come back this season was huge.
Yeah,
That should be positive enough than to
yeah,
worry about, but he didn't play that well on this position. It's more about the future. I'm looking forward to seeing how he cracks on, whether he's going to be played centrally, whether he's going to be playing on the wing. That's the type of stuff I'm looking forward to.
yeah. That's the big thing for me is Elliot. That's what I'm excited about. I don't care about transfers that much, but it's seeing how Elliot gets on. That's what really excites me about next season.
Yeah. So look, I'm just hoping we can. I know City's going to be right back up there. Haaland and up that South American striker that's scoring goals for fun over there.
Alvarez.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you got City going to be strengthening. They didn't. I think they already come out and said they're going to be even expecting